Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Glenn Weinstein, the Chief Customer Officer here at Twilio.
And I'm Katrina Wong, VP of Marketing for Twilio segment.
Hello, Katrina. We have done a lot of events together, but I think this is our very first live stream. And we are excited because the fourth annual Twilio State of Customer Engagement Report dropped today. And there are some really interesting findings to dig into. This is like I said, our fourth of these reports. We've been watching the trends over the years, and we are seeing some definite movement in the market. And it's Twilio being the owners of Twilio Segment, the world's largest customer data platform. This is an area of great interest to us.
Thank you, Glenn. Yes, I totally agree. In fact, one of the things that I find interesting from our report this year is that businesses are finding a balance between security and customer experience, and they've cited that as the biggest challenge that they're facing this year. Um, The good news is that we also found that 60% of brands are still saying that they want to invest in digital customer engagement and that they believe this improves their ability to meet customer changing needs. So I thought maybe we would start here. The report showed that there are three big influences driving increasing engagement in digital for businesses. First off, there's been a direct to consumer relationship revival. Second, an urgent need for businesses to protect consumer privacy. And then the third would be continued digital transformation of businesses.
Yeah, that sounds like the right context, Katrina, to this report. So our hope today is to leave you watching this live stream ready to take on the rest of the year with some context around what it really means to make an investment in your customer engagement strategy. We think that the findings of this report, which are based on a survey of over 4,000 business leaders, as well as consumers, as well as the data we see flowing through the segment platform, and we just know that it increases the agility of your brand, whatever your brand is, whoever your customers or constituents are. This is really something that's critical to get a hold of if you want to boost revenue and improve customer loyalty. So we have some secrets to share, right, Katrina?
That's right, Glenn. Let's do it.
All right, let's hop into the report.
So, as I mentioned earlier, the overarching theme for this year's report is a new way of doing business. And that's really because, based on the economic realities of this past year, businesses are now expected to still deliver at a larger scale, even with less resources. And I think we can agree that's no easy feat. So, Glenn, since you spend quite a bit of time with our customers, can you share a few examples of how they've adjusted to this reality?
Well, to me, the theme of the last year that I've seen with our customers is doing more with less. It's funny, the economy, at least, here in the US and generally globally, is humming along and consumers are spending, but marketing departments are under siege. And there have been significant cost cutting in a lot of companies around marketing budgets. Nonetheless, we still need to continue to acquire new customers. We need to generate repeat business, and we need to do it with fewer resources. That's the theme. That's what I'm hearing. What does that mean in practice? It means being more aggressive about choosing new technologies, adopting systems and processes that can boost your flexibility. Listen, you've got to respond to customers in real time. This is the currency of marketing today. Ultimately, and maybe most importantly, our customers, are looking for a data-driven business approach. They realize that to put their customers at the center of their business, they've got to start relying a lot more on data.
That's what I'm hearing as well, Glenn. And I think to add on to that, really leveraging and activating your customer data so that you can build stronger businesses seems to be the key when it comes to difficult times. Organizations really want to win in long term, and they're not really waiting until there's an obstacle or roadblock. When it comes to meeting customer expectations, what they're doing is they're proactively looking into their organizations to create better customer solutions and experiences right now. This brings me to the report takeaways. Would you mind walking the audience through them?
All right, drum roll, please. The survey itself, I would actually encourage you to go read the PDF that we've published because it's loaded with really fascinating facts and analysis of how consumers and how businesses answered our questions and the data that we saw out of it. But just to summarize, our analysts pulled out 5 takeaways from this mountain of data. So first of all, I suppose in no particular order. First of all, consumers' patience with generic experiences is dwindling away quickly. We saw that in the earlier days of our State of Customer Engagement report, and it's getting more extreme year over year. Secondly, it seems clear that real-time personalization is boosting customer lifetime value. That's hard to do. It's hard to provide personalization in real time, but the payoff seems really clear from what we're seeing and hearing. Third, we've been talking for a couple of years now about how browser companies are moving away from third-party cookies. And this survey confirms that consumers want that. In other words, consumers don't want to be tracked across the web. They want brands to build their own relationships with them, and that trend is more clear than ever. Fourth, we are looking at how consumers perceive trust with brands versus how brands perceive trust. And just like in previous years, there's a gap there, and the gap is growing where brands think they're trusted and consumers are saying, actually, we don't trust you. And then fifth, another continuing trend, but balancing customer experience and security is top of mind for CISOs, top of mind for CMOs, and it's another customer demand and expectation. So those are the 5 trends. We're going to dig into them a little bit here, but again, I would recommend you go to the report because the data in the report is great. Okay, so Katrina, you're a consumer of this report as well as a publisher of it. Which of these trends resonates most with you?
I think as a marketing leader, for the number one, customer data platform CDP, trend two really hits home for me. And this is around real-time personalization, being able to boost customer lifetime value. More than half of our consumers say that they will spend more on a brand that personalizes experiences, and 86% of consumers say that personalized experiences increase their loyalty to brands. So, in other words, right, customer expectations are, rapidly changing. That will continue. And when we work with large companies, these brands, we end up agreeing that brands need to focus on understanding each customer, not in a generic way, and we need to engage them in the most personalized way possible. And that seems to be resonating in a way to boost customer value.
Well, 86% of anything is almost unanimous. So that's a really strong survey result. And there's a lot of those in the survey, 80, 90, 95% numbers. So, okay, so we've talked in some general terms, Katrina. Are there any customers of Twilio segments or any organizations that come to mind when you think about putting these kinds of customer-focused principles in action?
Yes, we have a pretty cool customer that was highlighted in the report. This is Zenium. They are on a mission to provide affordable, accessible dental health care to patients in Asia. As they grew across different customer engagement channels, some of the challenges that they face with safety and securing, syncing in a secure way their customer data to create a holistic view of each customer, that was not easy to do. So initially, they actually used multiple customer data platforms, which really, made it even more difficult to manage customer data and provide an optimal customer experience. And so after trying another customer data platform and that didn't scale well, they ended up switching to Twilio Segment. And specifically, they took advantage of our destination action framework. And so with Zenium, they can now personalize their whole customer experience from sales to marketing support. So you see that realized across the entire customer lifecycle.
Yeah, I think Xenium, I think, is a great example. And again, read more in the report to find out who Xenium is and what they're up to. But to me, this shows that you're not only trying to fight competition with a good customer data platform, you're just trying to fight for your customers' attention and engagement. And that's, I think, what the Xenium story is all about. It's a good story.
That's right. So I'll pose the same question to you, Glenn. Which one of these trends resonated with you the most?
I see all five in practice in our customer base. I think that third one that I mentioned about moving, browsers eliminating third-party cookies and forcing brands to create basically direct and first-party relationships with their customers. I mean, that's kind of what our product line is all about, and it's really a lot of the value that brands can get from adopting a customer data platform strategy, and it's partially for what we're saying, like you can get higher customer lifetime value and so forth, but it's really just listening to your customers. I mean, consumers are saying, stop tracking me across the web, basically. So 86%, you cited that number. There's a number in this report that 95% of consumers have said they want more control of their customer data. And particularly, they're thinking of like my identity. They want to protect their identity. There's a number in the report, I forget the exact figure, but consumers are increasingly opting out of even that innocuous kind of like, is it okay to track cookies as you browse my website? More often, people are just saying no to that, even first party. So, we're here to say, and I think it's clear that first party data or zero party data, where you get consumers to proactively take the initiative to share information about themselves so that you can serve them in a more personal way. That is where the value is going to be in the future. I think that's the way to build long-term customer loyalty. Collect this data directly from your customers and then activate it in a way that creates a personalized experience. Now I'm starting to get into some of the other trends, but I think the move away from third-party cookies, that's a tectonic shift.
That's great. That's great.
Hmm.
Um, any more examples? Maybe something where we go a little bit deeper. How does this look in action?
Yeah. So the report calls out a great a great customer of ours called Sanofi, another healthcare company, a pharmaceutical company, and one of the world's largest healthcare companies. I think Sanofi is a good example of how to take this concept I've talked about, that third-party cookies are going away, and pivot and create a strategy around that. So Sanofi came to us. They're looking for a real-time, complete view of their customers. And again, their customers think like healthcare providers for a company like Sanofi. So they took the initiative. They said, okay, we're going to collect first-party data about our customers, about providers that use Sanofi products and services and whatnot, and create real-time customer profiles that they can now use to power digital-first engagement with those brands and personalization. So, not to sound too much like a marketer here, but to toot our own horn, like Twilio Segment was really key to this strategy. They used our product to launch what they call One View, which are like golden profiles built using online data and offline data about their customers. And then they turn around and use those profiles to build targeted omni-channel marketing campaigns using another Twilio product, Twilio Engage. They used our products. Hey, that's great. But bottom line is they have embraced this mission of building first-party data and building a direct relationship with their customers.
Yes, I'm familiar with Sanofi's story. One of my favorites. It's a great one.
Yeah, that's a great customer. We're very proud to have them and to support that great brand.
Gosh, should we leave with like maybe a major takeaway?
Hmm.
What would you say a major takeaway would be?
So we laid out the five findings of the report and all that. My simple brain says, honestly, if you can only remember one thing, consumers are in the driver's seat here. We can talk all we want about great marketing strategy and campaigns and whatnot, but consumers are telling us loud and clear what to do. We better start listening to them.
Glenn, I agree. I agree. Consumers are definitely, in the driver's seat. In terms of major takeaways, let's see, on my end, five fundamentals of digital customer engagement. We laid out business leaders have the opportunity to provide customer experiences that not only boost growth in the short term, but also future proof their enterprises in a rapidly changing world, even with fewer resources.
Yeah. So that's a great summary, Katrina. I think one thing I do want to leave our audience with is just kind of a reminder of who we are and why we put out this report. There's a whole team of people at Twilio and Twilio Segment that make this report happen, and they're gathering this data on our behalf. Great job, team. This is an amazing report, and it's a really fun read.
Yes, way to go, Twillions. This was an absolute huge undertaking. I think this year we combined the perspectives of more than 4,700 business and consumer leaders, B2C leaders in key sectors around the world, 6,000 consumers, and data from our own customer engagement platform.
Yeah, and we're happy to share what we learn with you all. So thanks again, audience, for tuning in today. I do want to give a quick plug for what's next. I will be at our Transform Together event on April 18th, and I'm going to be sitting down with a special guest that we're going to talk to about driving customer loyalty and increasing revenue, even with a smaller marketing budget.
Glenn, exciting, exciting. We've done some of those together as well.
Yeah.
For the audience, of course, this discussion was just a high level overview of the report. So, for a deep dive, definitely encourage you to check out the full Twilio's 2023 State of Customer Engagement Report. It's quite the treat. So, until next time, Glenn.
Thanks, Katrina. Bye now.
Bye.